Okay, I'll be answering questions on here. Evaluate 27 to the 2/3. 27 to the 1/3 is the cube root of 27, which is 3. Then it must be squared to raise it to the power of 2/3. So the answer is 9. 27 to the 2/3 is 9. Expand and simplify 2x minus 1 all times x plus 4. The answer is 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. Two x squared plus 7x minus 4 is the expansion of 2x minus 1 times x plus 4. Factorize completely 3x squared, take 12. Alright, so first factor out 3. So we have 3 all times x squared, take 4. Then apply the difference of two squares pattern. So we have 3 times x plus 2 times x take 2. So 3 times x plus 2 times x take 2 is the complete factorization of 3x squared minus 12. Evaluate 16 to the negative half. 16 to the half is 4, and 16 to the negative half is 1/4. So 1/4 is 16 to the negative half. Pardon me, 1/4 is 16 to the negative half. Okay, simplify the third expression, root 75, take root 12. Root 75 is 5 root 3, and root 12 is 2 root 3. Therefore, root 75 take root 12 is 3 root 3. 3 root 3 is root 75 take root 12. Okay, rationalize the denominator of 10 over root 5. 10 over root 5. Multiply the numerator and denominator by root 5. So we have 10 root 5 over 5. And then cancel by 5s, so we have 2 root 5. So 2 root 5 is the result of rationalizing the denominator of 10 over root 5. Find the roots of the quadratic equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 equals 0. So we factorize it into x minus 3 times x minus 5 equals 0. And then we find that the roots are 3 and 5. Those are the only values of x that render that to be true. So 3 and 5 are the roots of the quadratic equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 equals 0. Hello. Express x squared plus 10x minus 3 in the form x plus p all squared plus q, where p and q are integers. So we have to complete the square. So it would be x plus 5 all squared, which generates an excess of 25, so we have to take that away. So x plus 5 all squared minus 25 minus 3, so x plus 5 all squared minus 28. And that's the completed square version of x squared plus 10x minus 3. Calculate the discriminant of x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0 and state the nature of its roots. Alright, so the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. In this case, a is 1, b is negative 4, and c is positive 4. Okay, so b squared is 16. Then we have to take away 4 times 1 times 4. So 16 take away 16, which is 0. And because the discriminant is 0, it will have one repeated root. That is to say, the quadratic will be touching the x-axis precisely once. Okay, so that's 0 is the discriminant of x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. What is the y-intercept of the graph y equals x minus 4 times x plus 3? Well, when you expand it out, you get x squared minus x minus 12, or rather y equals x squared minus x minus 12, and then substitute x equals 0 to find the y-intercept, and it would be minus 12. So minus 12 is the y-intercept of y equals x minus 4 times x plus 3. A rectangle has area 24 and length x, giving a width of 24 over x. If the width is x minus 2, then what is the length? Alright, so 24 over x is equal to x minus 2. So we're just going to multiply across. So we have 24 equals x squared minus 2x. And then x squared minus 2x minus 24 is equal to 0. And so x minus 6 times x plus 4 is equal to 0. So x is either 6 or negative 4. But the only one that actually makes sense is 6. Hello. Solve the linear simultaneous equations x plus y equals 10 and x minus y equals 4. Okay, in this case, x is 7 and y is 3. So 7, 3 is the solution to the simultaneous equations x plus y equals 10 and x minus y equals 4. Solve the linear inequality 5 minus 2x is less than 1. Alright, so subtract 5 from both sides. So we have minus 2x is less than negative 4. Divide both sides by minus 2. And we have x is greater than 2. So x is greater than 2 solves the linear inequality 5 minus 2x is less than 1. Find the range of values of x for which x squared is less than 25. X must be greater than negative 5 but less than 5. So x being greater than negative 5 but less than 5 solves the inequality x squared is less than 25. Find the intersection points of y equals x squared and y equals x. The answer is 0 and 1, or rather 0, 0 and 1, 1. Those are the intersection points of y equals x squared and y equals x. Number 4. How many real roots does the cubic graph y equals x times x minus 2 times x plus 5 have? The answer is that it has 3 real roots, namely negative 5, 0 and 2. So negative 5, 0 and 2 are the real roots of y equals x times x. Y equals x times x minus 2 times, just give me a second. Y equals x times x minus 2 times x plus 5. There you go. What are the equations for the vertical and horizontal asymptotes of y equals 1 over x? Okay, the vertical and horizontal asymptotes are the y-axis and x-axis, respectively. And their equations are x equals 0 and y equals 0, respectively. If the graph y equals f of x has a minimum at 0, 0, what is the minimum of the graph y equals f of x minus 2, all of that, plus 3? Well, going into the argument of the function and subtracting 2 has the effect of shifting the whole graph horizontally by 2 units to the right, and then adding 3 to y has the effect of shifting the whole graph vertically 3 units upwards. And therefore, the effect upon the minimum is to move it, translate it, 2 units to the right and 3 units up. And therefore, it will move from 0, 0 to 2, 3. Hello. If f of x equals x squared, what is the function g of x representing f of x stretched vertically by a factor of 4? G of x is equal to 4x squared. That's what happens when you stretch f of x equals x squared vertically by a factor of 4. Find the gradient of the straight line given by the equation 4x plus 2y equals 8. Alright, so you can rearrange it into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus c. So 2y equals minus 4x plus 8. Then divide everything by 2. So y equals minus 2x plus 4. And then we can see that the gradient is minus 2. Yes, so minus 2 is the gradient of 4x plus 2y equals 8. What is the gradient of a line perpendicular to y equals 5x plus 2? A line perpendicular to it will have a gradient that's the negative reciprocal of the gradient of y equals 5x plus 2. And the gradient of y equals 5x plus 2 is 5. And therefore, it will have a gradient of negative 1/5. Find the midpoint of the line segment joining 2, negative 1 and 8, 2. Alright. Okay, find the midpoint of the line segment joining 2, negative 1 and 8, 5. So we need to find the midpoint of the x coordinates and then the midpoint of the y coordinates. The midpoint of 2 and 8 is 5. The midpoint of negative 1 and 5 is 2. And therefore the answer is 5, 2. Yeah, so 5, 2 should be the midpoint of 2, negative 1 and 8, 5. Calculate the exact distance between points 1, 1 and 4, 5. So you need to find the change in x and the change in y, then square both of them, then add them together, and then find the square root of it. That's the Pythagorean theorem. So the change in x is 3 units, the change in y is 4 units, so it's 3 squared and 4 squared, all square rooted, which is 5. And that's the distance between 1, 1 and 4, 5. Yes, sir. Find the equation of a line with gradient 3 passing through the point 0, -4. Alright, so we use y equals mx plus c. We set m equal to 3. Then to find c, we have to replace x with 0 and y with -4. So -4 equals nothing plus c. So c is equal to -4. So the answer is y equals 3x minus 4. So y equals 3x minus 4 is the line with gradient 3 passing through the point 0, -4. Okay. State the center and radius of the circle x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 4 all squared equals 49. Okay, the general form of the equation of a circle is x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared, where a, b is the center and r is the radius. In this case, a is 3 and b is -4, and therefore the center is 3, -4. And the radius is 7. So 3, -4 is the center, and 7 is the radius. And the equation of the circle was x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 4 all squared equals 49. Find the equation of a circle with center 0, 0 passing through the point 3, 4. Well, if it passes through the point 3, 4, and its center is 0, 0, and the distance between those 2 points is 5, then its radius must be 5. And so, just applying the formula from earlier, its equation must be x squared add y squared equals 25. So that's the equation of the circle with center 0, 0 passing through the point 3, 4. What's the distance between the center of the circle x squared add y squared equals 100 and the point 6, 8? The center of the circle x squared add y squared equals 100 is the origin, or 0, 0. And the point 6, 8, we just need to apply the Pythagorean theorem. So it's 36 squared add 8, it's 6 squared add 8 squared, all of that square rooted, which is 10. The line y equals x intersects the circle x squared add y squared equals 8 at exactly 2 points in the first and third quadrants. Find the coordinates of the point in the first quadrant. The first quadrant is the top right. And so to solve that, we're going to replace y with x. So we're going to have 2x squared equals 8, and thus x squared equals 4, and thus x equals 2. and thus y equals 2. So the answer is 2, 2. Simplify the algebraic fraction x squared minus 9 over x plus 3. So we factorize the numerator using the difference of two squares, so it's going to be x plus 3 times x minus 3 all over x plus 3. So we cancel x plus 3 on the top and the bottom, and then we just get x minus 3 on the top. So x minus 3 is the simplification of x squared minus 9 over x plus 3. Divide x squared add 5x add 6 by x plus 2. Because x squared add 5x add 6 can be factorized into x plus 2 times x plus 3, dividing will just result in x plus 3. Try again. Use the factor theorem to determine if x minus 1 is a factor of x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2. So I have to substitute positive 1 and see if it yields 0. I have to substitute positive 1 into x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2. And when I do so, I get 1 plus 2 minus 1 minus 2. And that does indeed yield 0. And so the answer is yes, x minus 1 is a factor of x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2. If f of x equals x cubed minus kx plus 6 and f of 2 is equal to 0, find the value of k. Alright, so 2 cubed minus 2k plus 6 equals 0. So 14 minus 2k is equal to 0. So k is equal to 7. All right. Prove by counterexample that all prime numbers are odd is false. The counterexample is simply number 2. The number 2. Okay. calculate the value of 5, choose 2. So this means that if you have 5 elements, how many ways are there to choose 2 elements from those 5 elements? The answer is 10. There are a number of ways to calculate it, but in this particular case, you can just do 1 add 2 add 3 add 4. It's the 4th triangular number. So 10 is 5 choose 2. Find the coefficient of x squared in the binomial expansion of 1 add x all to the 4. Alright, it will be 4 choose 2 multiplied by x squared, and 4 choose 2 is 6. So the answer is 6. Six will be the coefficient of x squared in the binomial expansion of 1 add x all to the 4. Find the first 2 terms in ascending powers of x in the binomial expansion of 2 plus x all cubed. Alright. So we'll use the Pascal's triangle row, which goes 1 3 3 1, and then we'll line things up. So we'll have 2 cubed in the very first term. So 1 times 2 cubed, giving us 8. And then 3 times 2 squared times x, giving us 12x. So 8 plus 12x plus 6x squared plus x cubed. Yeah, so 8 plus 12x plus 6x squared plus x cubed. That should be the binomial expansion of 2 add x all to the 3. Okay, just wait for the If the first term in the expansion of 1 plus bx all to the power of 5 is 1, and the second term is 10x, find the value of b. Okay, that row of Pascal's triangle is 1 5 10 10 5 1. So it makes sense that the first term would be 1. And then the next term would be 5 times bx, and therefore b is 2. Okay. Chapter 9. In the triangle ABC, if A is 5 and B is 5, and the included angle C is 60 degrees, what is the length of the third side, C? Alright, so this is simply an equilateral triangle. So the third side has a length of 5 as well. Calculate the area of a triangle with sides of length 6 and 8 and an included angle of 60 degrees. Okay. Calculate the area of a triangle with sides of length 6 and 8 and an included angle of 60 degrees. So I'm going to interpret that as being the angle between the sides of length 6 and 8. And then I'm going to use the formula that the area of a triangle is half AB times the sine of the angle between them. So it's going to be half of 6 times 8 times the sine of 60 degrees. And the sine of 60 degrees is root 3 over 2. Thus, it's half of 48 times root 3 over 2. So 24 times root 3 over 2, which is 12 root 3. State the maximum value of the graph y equals 3 times sine of x. The maximum value of that graph is 3. Because it's stretched vertically by a factor of 3. What is the period of the graph y equals tan of x in degrees? The answer is 180 degrees. That's the period of y equals tan of x. It's because it's stretched vertically by a factor of 3. In which quadrant are both sine and tangent positive? The answer is the first quadrant. And you can see that for yourself by just considering sine of 1 degree and tangent of 1 degree. Hello. State the exact value of the cosine of 60 degrees. Okay, the exact value of the cosine of 60 degrees is 1/2. Simplify the trigonometric expression 1 minus the sine squared of theta. So we're going to use the Pythagorean identity that sine squared theta plus cos squared theta equals 1. And this is simply a rearrangement of that. So the answer is cos squared theta. Simplify sine of x over cosine of x. So this is definitional. This is tan of x. I don't know why I love it, I just love it. Solve sine of x equals 0.5 for the principal value of x in degrees. The answer is 30 degrees. So chapter 11. Find the magnitude of the vector 5i minus 12j. So we apply the Pythagorean theorem to the magnitude of the components. So 5 squared plus the square of negative 12, all of that square rooted. So that would be 25 at 144, which is 169. And square rooting that, we get 13. So 13 is the magnitude of the vector 5i minus 12j. If vector A is 2i plus 3j, and vector B is minus I plus 4j, what is 2a plus b? Okay, so it would be 3i plus 7j. Just give me a second, is that right? Let me try again. Vector A is 2i plus 3j, and vector B is minus I plus 4j. What is 2a plus b? All right. So 3i is correct. And then 10j. 3i plus 10j. Find a unit vector in the direction 3i plus 4j. The magnitude of that vector is 5, and therefore the answer is 3 over 5i plus 4 over 5j. Okay, new chapter. Differentiate y equals x cubed minus 4x squared plus x with respect to x. So in this case, dy by dx equals 3x squared minus 8x plus 1. So 3x squared minus 8x plus 1 is the derivative of x cubed minus 4x squared plus x. That's great. Find the gradient of the tangent to the curve y equals 2x squared at the point x equals 3. So dy by dx equals 4x, then substitute x for 3, and we get 12. So 12 is the gradient of the tangent to the curve y equals 4x squared at the point x equals 3. No, that's not right. That's not right. Something is wrong. Okay, so 12 is the gradient of the tangent to the curve y equals 2x squared at the point x equals 3. Find the x-coordinate of the minimum point. Find the try again. Find the x-coordinate of the minimum stationary point of y equals x squared minus 6. So this is a parabola passing through 0 and 6, and so the line of symmetry is x equals 3, and so substituting x equals 3, we get 3 squared minus 6 times 3, which is negative 9, and so the answer is 3, negative 9. Those are the coordinates of the minimum stationary point of the curve y equals x squared minus 6x. Find the second derivative of y equals x to the 4. The first derivative, dy by dx, equals 4x cubed, and the second derivative, d2y by dx squared, is 12x squared. So 12x squared is the second derivative of y equals x to the 4. Yes, I like it. If dy by dx equals 3x squared minus 12, what are the x coordinates of the stationary points? So set the derivative equal to 0, so 3x squared minus 12 equals 0. Factor out 3, then we have 3 open brackets x squared minus 4 equals 0. And then apply the difference of two squares identity, so we have 3 times x minus 2 times x plus 2 equals 0. And then solve for x. So x is either positive or negative 2. So plus or minus 2 are the x coordinates of the stationary points of the curve with the derivative 3x squared minus 12. Alright. Trying to concentrate. Integrate 6x squared with respect to x. So we add 1 to the power and then divide by the new power. And so it should be 2x cubed plus c. 2x cubed plus c. X cubed plus c should be the antiderivative of 6x squared with respect to x. Find the equation of the curve y if dy by dx equals 2x and it passes through the point 1, 4. Alright, if dy by dx equals 2x, then the antiderivative is x squared plus c, and it passes through the point 1, 4. So 1 squared plus c equals 4, and therefore the constant of integration is simply 3, and so y equals x squared plus 3. Evaluate the definite integral y equals 2x from x equals 1 to x equals 4. Okay, so the antiderivative is x squared, and then we have to substitute in 4 and 1 and subtract the latter from the former. So 16 minus 1 is 15. Find the area under the curve y equals x squared from... Find the area under the curve y equals x squared and the x-axis between the points x equals 0 and x equals 3. Okay, so the integral of x squared is 1/3 of x cubed. So we need to only substitute in 3, and so the answer is 9. Okay, this can be the end now. Chapter 14. Simplify the logarithmic expression log base 2 of 8 plus log base 2 of 4. So applying the laws of logarithms, this should be log base 2 of 8 times 4, which is log base 2 of 32, which is 5. Solve the exponential equation e to the 3x equals 1 for x, or the only power of e, which is equal to 1, is 0, and thus 3x equals 0, and thus x equals 0. Express 2 ln x plus ln 3 as a single natural logarithm. Okay, 2 ln x is ln of x squared, and then applying the laws of logarithms, we have to multiply the arguments of the logarithms, so it should be the natural logarithm of 3x squared. Solve ln x equals 2 for x. X is e to the 2. And finally, if y equals 5 times e to the 2, what is the value of y when x is equal to 0? Well, e to the power of 2 times 0 is equal to e to the 0, which is 1, and therefore the answer is 5. And that's the end. Thank you.